Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy day to everybody out there. It's great for all of you to be tuning us in and turning us on. Love it, love it, love it. Hello, Mr. Benny.
Hey, Pat.
Yep, got through another squeaker yesterday.
Oh, man, you don't even know.
Oh, my gosh.
For those in the outline area, Pat and I are both talking about the Seahawks win, which was by the skin of their teeth. Although both kickers were having issues, so we lucked out on our kicker inching one out just a little bit better than the other kicker.
But just put the boot behind it.
Oh my goodness!
Just put the boot on it.
I kind of felt bad for him, like after the first two, because it's like that's their only job. I get it. I mean, I could never do that. I'd rather have to be playing with pain and play the whole entire game rather than like everyone staring at me. I mean, there's a lot on their shoulders these days.
Yeah, I think if I continue to watch the Seahawks, I'm gonna have to go back to therapy.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Well, guess what, Benny? I'm going to be going back to the East Coast. So I'm going to be doing a number of my shows back there.
Coolio.
And so my friends are basically like, please don't walk in here and talk about football. Not with you people in Seattle. Don't walk in here. Don't talk to us about it. And so honestly, I know there are two things that I don't talk about when I go back to the East Coast for family and friends. I don't talk about football. And I certainly don't talk about, I don't even want to say it, I don't talk about anything to do with politics. And I never have on the show. But I go back, I have some fun. I get to be in the Northeast, a couple of live events. We're going to be doing some live coverage from two events back there, which is kind of cool. Going to be hanging out with our buddy out there, Lou Paradise and Aurora Paradise, and a wedding, Benny, a high school reunion. Like these people in my high school are like, oh my God, girl, we thought you were arrested and dead. We're like, what are you doing? Is that they like social media? What do they call it? They like Twitter and Facebook you, and instant message you, and they're like, man, like, when did you get out of jail? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how long ago have you even seen me? So it's going to be fun to go back there. It's really going to be totally fun.
Yeah, so you can prove everyone wrong that you haven't been in jail or
prison. I know,
yeah.
But you know, the deal is Kristin Grace McGarry is going to shed some light on why I'm able to go back, why I'm have such vitality. You know, what is it? Today, Benny, we're going to talk about 5 shocking reasons you are sick and tired. 5 shocking reasons you are sick and tired. And for many of you, you've heard me start to share now my healing journey. It started in 2004. I didn't know what I didn't know about anything I didn't know. And I was very fortunate that Dr. Darvish, thanks to the angel lady, popped up in my life. Because on the road to healing, I had to trust, I had to understand, I had to know the difference between healing and curing. And one of the things that this internationally recognized, highly sought after, integrated and functional healthcare expert is going to tell us is that you can heal things for good. You can get well for good. And any of us that have experienced fatigue, digestive issues, whether it's diagnosed with medical symptoms, you name it, you all have heard me talk about it. Today, we're going to hear about what I have said a million times and hated to admit. Yeah, the nut is in the gut. Kristin, great to have you.
Thanks so much, Pat and Benny. I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, Benny and I, we were just talking a little bit about the Seahawks, our little Monday check-in with our audience about that. And, one of the things that I love is we get to talk about some of the things that we're not just physically sick and tired. My own healing journey and coming down with a mystery disease in 2004, it was so systemic, meaning it wasn't just, oh, I don't feel well, oh, I'm tired. It then became the psychological, emotional, and spiritual aspects of that. And thank goodness for the work that you do, right? And what your message is. We're talking about autoimmune disorders and what we can do about it. But in the end, we have to fight off the demons that tell us we can never be well again. What are some of the challenges and obstacles that you personally had to go through to bring you to this very moment?
Well, thanks, Pat, for bringing that up, because you've touched on a couple of really important points, and that is this kind of mysterious disease that people are being not diagnosed with or mismanaged, misdiagnosed with, and that is autoimmune issues. And I have been on my own journey of healing from 2 different autoimmune challenges. And some of the blocks I had emotionally and psychologically was just getting a diagnosis and not thinking I was crazy, because the doctors just kept sending me to a therapist, not understanding my symptoms, thinking it was all in my head, right? But it wasn't all in my head. It was just misdiagnosed and undiagnosed for years. So I was so grateful to get the diagnosis. That was step A. Wow, okay, I'm not crazy. What a relief. And then it was, how do I get rid of the diagnosis? How do I get rid of the label, right? I imagined I had this stamp on my forehead now, and every time I saw a healthcare provider, even a naturopath, I was seen as this label, as this autoimmune disease, this condition that apparently I would never get rid of, or a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, which is very much autoimmune related. I call it often a pre-autoimmune condition, depending on that person's biochemistry. And so then my next step 2 work was to peel that label off and remember my wholeness and my body's innate ability to completely heal. And I had to remove different blocks to healing in order for my own body to do what it was built to do.
Yeah, I want to talk about this for a minute, but I don't want to kind of jump ahead. We've got a whole hour that we're going to talk about, like, where do you go from there? Now, for me, I'm like you. One day, just saying, on March 31st of 2004, I was as healthy as all get out. At least I thought so. Mm-hmm. That's number 1. April 1st, I'm giving a workshop, Live Your Greatest Dream. By the end of the day, my ankle was the size of a very large grapefruit. And I went to the ortho doctor, and then the ortho doctor says, no, man, you didn't sprain anything. Go here, go there. I had more tests than I knew there were tests for. And in the end, the only place to throw you is in that bucket, that autoimmune bucket. And it's hard to figure out anything but, so here's what I asked these doctors. I said, look, I did a little research, autoimmune. This is what it says. It says that my immune system is attacking itself. That doesn't make any sense to me. So what is it in my system that my immune system is attacking? Well, it just attacks itself. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. That's not the normal law of the universe. Things that get attacked outside of your body, inside of your body, is they're in response to something. What is it that's same answer. Yeah. And so you do think you're crazy. I mean, I even got sent to a priest. I was like, you need to go see a priest because you shouldn't be making this stuff up. But here you and I are today with a very different story to really help people. What is it about you, your journey, your mission, your vision? What is it that gets you fired up every day to keep doing this?
Oh, I love that question, Pat. Thank you. A few things that kind of light me up in this area. And one is patient empowerment. I get very, very excited because of my own journey and my own commitment to my health and my body and my passion to alleviate suffering on the planet is to empower others. And when I can help someone understand better what's going on inside their body so that they can make informed choices about their food and their lifestyle and how to deal with stress differently and environmental toxins, and they're lit up because now they have some control in their life. They actually can make informed choices that really do make a difference on if they're going to suffer today and in the future or not. And that lights me up. It just gets me so excited. And I think the second thing that really lights me up is working as a team with other doctors.
Yeah.
Because I really appreciate the gifts of Western medicine. I started off in Western medicine, and I really get how they can save lives. And if I have a broken bone and that bone is compound fracture and sticking out of my skin, by golly, I'm going to a surgeon, and I'm grateful for those tools of anesthesia and putting a steel pin or plate or something in my arm to repair it so I can use my arm in the future. And it's partial. And I like to help fill in the gaps or bridge the gaps between Western medical science and functional healthcare.
Yeah.
Asian medicine, healing arts. I think that being able to communicate with both sides of that coin and educate people to do the same is very important, and working closely with Western medical physicians with their patients so that that patient gets the best of all of our gifts and both worlds. We're educating each other, we're empowering the patient, and that really lights me up. I get really excited by that.
Well, this is what I love about this because, I don't know about you, but somewhere along the way, I discovered that I always paid much more attention to people that have taken the journey I'm inquiring about. And I had a mentor once that said to me, Pat, here's the deal. You cannot take a person to a place you haven't gone before. And when I look back at my own experience, what I was facing with the show, this was 6 months after we started the show, I was facing the fact that I wanted to talk about living life full out. I wanted to talk about what does it mean to be vibrant, but I had never been not well. And so here I was talking about this is what you can do, but I didn't have a real sense of what it's like for people that hear the words, you have fill in your own blank. When we come back, we're going to talk about what do you do when you hear you have fill in your own blank? What are some of the blocks? And what can we now learn about the gut? Yeah, the gut. It is so ancient in our civilization about what we have done thousands and thousands and thousands of years to really get to that stomach ache, that gut problem, that gut situation. What have we forgotten, and what is Kristin going to remind us of? Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to tap into the healer within? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the real doctor is the source that lives within you, that heals within you minute by minute every day? The healer within is the innate intelligence of the human body. When we cut our hand with a piece of glass, we don't have to command the body to close the wound and grow new skin. It knows how to heal itself. We do have to nourish the skin by disinfecting it and remove the glass, or it cannot heal. The innate healer relies upon us to assist in this healing process. Our role is to identify its needs, provide the substances required for the healing, and remove the obstacle. Contact us to achieve optimal health at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
A space of allowing radio with Coach Nancy Coco, welcoming all that wants to be present today. Tune in Thursdays every first and third week at 9 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Coach Nancy helps you find a space of allowing. Join Coach Nancy to explore what lives at your edges and to bring more of yourself home. For more information, visit NancyCocoCoaching.com.
about the heart and soul of justice. In Law and Disorder Radio, Megan Lyons will be raising the universal consciousness by empowering listeners with their own inner strength. Megan will show you how to find true healing and inner peace through the art and practice of self-love. From victim to victor. Tune in every first and third Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about Megan Lyons, visit her website, enterthelightllc.com.
Calling all ladies. Are you struggling with neck, back, shoulder pain, or postural issues? You actually might have a related bra problem. Talk to Maria Monti at the Healthy Bra Company. She is a professional postural therapist who offers custom-fitted, custom-altered bras in 2,500 size combinations specific to your body type, shape, size, anatomical features, and breast weight. Call Maria today to find out more at 360-815-3205.
Healing Beyond Symptom Management into True Wellness with Jessica Dooley on Purely You Radio. Tune in every third Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific as Jessica guides you to find and embrace your purest self. Not the self that is shown on social media, not the self that is created in your family's eyes, but your purest version of you. Purely You Radio supports true wellness, not just symptom management. For more information about working with Jessica Dooley, visit purelyyouhealing.com.
Oh, Benny, did you play that?
Yeah.
Did you play Santana?
Yeah, throwing it back.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love me a little Santana. Oh, boy. Sorry, I got distracted. Kristin Grace McGarry joining me here today, health and lifestyle alchemist, and much more. Today, we're talking about something very near and dear to her heart and my heart and all of yours, because I don't think we wake up and ask ourselves the question, I'd really like to be sick and tired today. I don't think we do that. So this is 5 shocking reasons you are sick and tired. But the reasons you're sick and tired are not without the possibilities of a solution. Today, you're going to find out why you should have that functional body chemistry analysis. What is that? But before we do that, Kristin, how about if we can find out more about you, any of your upcoming events, books, and how we can connect with you directly.
Great. Thanks, Pat. So people can find me at my website, www.kristingracemcgarry.com. And I'm going to spell it because it has a very unique spelling. KristinGraceMcGarry.com. That's my website. You can also find out about my upcoming events. I'm running a beautiful luxury transformational retreat in Costa Rica at the Luxury Transformational Retreat Center known as Synergita. And that'll be October 28th through November 3rd. And I'm also very excited to speak at the Natural Living Expo in Marlborough, Massachusetts, outside of Boston, November 10th and 11th. And that's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Awesome. Now, we talked a little bit about your own journey, and we talked about what happens when you hear those words. And you can fill in your own blank. You have an autoimmune disease. You have a thyroid disease. You have cancer. You have. Or this is the diagnosis. Or let us tell you about your blood count and your inflammation level. It could come in any number of ways. But rarely are we hearing about healing, like the healing word, right? So what are some of the reasons, right, the 5 shocking reasons that people do feel sick and tired? And by the way, if you have any of these, you also probably feel sick and tired of feeling sick and tired.
Exactly. And you also brought in gut health, which is one of my 5 shocking reasons why you might be sick and tired. So people don't realize that the gut is in charge of not just assimilating nutrients. It's very much in charge of your immune system and how your immune system is functioning. About 70 to 75% of your immune function comes from your gut. And if it's not healthy, then you're not healthy, whether you notice it yet or not. And I always tell my patients, you are not what you eat. You know that old saying, you are what you eat? Yeah. I disagree. You are not what you eat. It's better said that you are what you are able to assimilate, to digest and absorb.
Well, let's talk about the difference for a minute, because many people don't know the difference, right? We think, I'm going to put that, let me just eat that green drink. I just powered up that green drink right there, and I'm putting that thing in, and it's going in, and I should feel better, but I don't feel better, so I don't keep eating the green drink. What are we missing here?
Right. We're missing a couple of things. You may not be absorbing it well. That's a big one. What you've done before and after the green drink makes a difference as well. And if you're having a green drink and then you're eating bagels and soda at work and you're hoping that the green drink is going to help balance it out, it's not doing the same kind of job that you're hoping. It is good. You are getting some nutrients in you, and you may not be able to absorb it. You may have other inflammatory gut issues going on depending on the rest of your nutritional program or exercise or stress levels or even dehydration. Dehydration is another reason why someone may feel exhausted. If they're chronically dehydrated, they're also inflamed. They also may have immune dysfunction. Water is a great antihistamine. People who are having seasonal allergies are often dehydrated. That's a part of their picture.
But let's talk about the level of dehydration we have going on in this country.
Wow.
One of the, you brought it up. I just have to go there for a minute. Not everyone knows that dehydration and how to not be dehydrated is not running out and drinking a soda. So I want to talk about, just a minute, I don't want to stay a long time on it, but let's talk about dehydration, and let's talk about what you need to do not to be dehydrated.
Super. I'll give you my tips, my top tips for this. We'll hone it in. So one is, if you're drinking tea, that is not hydrating you. A lot of patients come in and say, well, I drink tons of tea. That's water, right? No, it's not. It actually takes water from your body to process that tea, whether it's herbal or green or black. And caffeine is even more dehydrating. So if you're not drinking an herbal tea and you're drinking something with caffeine in it, that's going to even pull more water out of your body. So that's one. Tea is not hydrating. Two is the kind of water you have. If you're drinking reverse osmosis all day long, you're likely not hydrated. I see it on labs all the time. We don't have enough science yet to explain exactly why, but we do know that the reverse osmosis process is likely changing the structure of the water molecule so that the body doesn't absorb it as well. I see it on labs all the time. People tell me they are drinking a gallon plus water every day, but their labs show me they're dehydrated. And when I investigate what the water source is, it's often reverse osmosis. So my next tip is spring water. Whenever you can drink spring water, drink it. If you have to buy it, if you have to schlep your bottles, I schlep my bottles or I get it delivered to me in Boulder. When I'm in Boulder, Colorado, we have fresh spring water. When I'm in Seattle, we have fresh spring water. If I travel, I buy fresh spring water so that I know I'm getting good water. Now, if I'm traveling to Mexico, it's okay to have some reverse osmosis because I know I'm not going to get any bugs with it. I just don't want that to be my only water source. And I'd say 3 is quantity of water. Most people think that, oh, I just had 5 or 6 little glasses of water today. That's all my doctor said I need. But the way to figure it out is to take your body weight in pounds, divide that by 2, and that's the number of ounces of water you need every day if you're a couch potato. Now, if you get up and you go to work and you have a cup of coffee or tea, or you drink soda, or you exercise, or you do a yoga class, then you need even more water.
And this is really the crux of what we're talking about today, because you're right. We have a lot of things we say or we put in our body, and we think we're drinking. Can we just say that? We think we're drinking. And yet at the same time, dehydration is not a natural state for the body.
True. That's really true. And people are, there's more and more push to drink energy drinks to power through our day because we are feeling tired. So people are turning to more and more stimulants. And this is actually one of my other shocking reasons you may be sick and tired. If you're consuming stimulants often and or alcohol, it can actually impact how you process and store your nutrients, which over a period of time will cause you to be depleted and even more tired.
Well, we've got so much to talk about here. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 3 things that are important to at least keep in mind. One is the conversation about gluten. The other is the conversation about food sensitivities. And the third is something I discovered somewhere along the way, ketones. And how did I discover ketones? I'm going to tell you. Everybody calls it ketogenic gut repair, ketones. What do we want to say about ketogenic gut repair? But what is it I learned somewhere along the way many years ago in an interview that shocked me? Well, I got to tell you, Kristin's going to bring us up to date because we're now in 2018. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Join Jennifer Noel Taylor on the hit show Quantum Touch Radio, supercharging your life on TransformationTalkRadio.com. You'll take a quantum journey as we reveal powerful yet simple steps to create more abundance, better health, emotional and mental vibrancy, and happier relationships using universal quantum touch principles. For more information, visit JenniferNoelTaylor.com.
Demystifying the journey on From Here to There Radio with your host, Diane Garris. Tune in every third Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Diane helps you get from where you are now to the life you envision. Get ready to get unstuck and move forward. Every show features a new special segment, New Age Notes, demystifying hot metaphysical topics of the day. For more information or to work with Diane, visit DianeGarris.com.
Ignite your inner magic on Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Jane Matanga explores how to overcome your fears to help you gain the inspiration you need to awaken your path to joy. Learn the way to life mastery and the enlightened path with Grow Your Soul Radio. For more information on Jane Matanga and her work, visit enlightened-path.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Would you like your next chapter to be free from fear and angst?
Tune in to Your Next Chapter Radio, navigating through life's transitions with Shelley Ryan the fourth Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Shelley's contagious enthusiasm guides you through life's transitions deliberately, mindfully, and funnily. For Your Next Chapter coaching or to listen, visit YourNextChapterCoaching.com or call 602-617-8351. Next.
High frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores source light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. You know what? I'd love to open up the phone lines for your questions here because I think, one of the things is that, Kristin and I could begin to talk about this and really go down the gamut and miss what you really want to hear or what questions you have. So this is a great opportunity to talk to an expert who's created the ketogenic cure and the ketogenic diet and the ketogenic what I want to say, gut repair. But in the end, this is where you can get your questions today. Because if you're anything like me, you're probably stumbling around trying to figure out where to begin and what to do. Kristin, before we jump in and talk about this and talk about the ketogenic gut repair, how can people find out more about you?
Thanks, Pat. My website, www.KristinGraceMcGarry.com. Mm-hmm. I'll spell it for you because it's unique. KristinGraceMcGarry.com.
Awesome. Okay. I mentioned before the break that a number of years ago, I met a woman and I interviewed her. And she wrote a book on Alzheimer's disease, What If There Was a Cure? And this was maybe the second time that I had heard about what she was discovering. And this was her and her husband's journey. And all hope was lost for this man, right? And her journey was to bring to the public, and by the way, as a doctor, to really find something, somehow. And she wrote us the story of ketones. That was the first time I ever heard it. And, honestly, I didn't know anything about it. Today, though, what you've done is you've created a repair mechanism for our gut. Because if we are not going to repair our gut, I honestly, it didn't work for me. Didn't matter how many green smoothies I put in there. Nope. So tell us about your journey with this, what you discovered and why you discovered it.
Mm-hmm. So I created the Ketogenic Gut Repair Program, and I've written a book about it. It's called The Ketogenic Cure, Heal Your Gut, Heal Your Life. And it should be out sometime next year. I'm really excited to share this knowledge and information with people because I believe knowledge is power. And if people really can combine the health benefits of a mostly ketogenic diet with gut repair, then it will really, really have a huge impact. A lot of people have begun to play with the ketogenic diet. However, they haven't understood that some of the components of a standard ketogenic diet actually causes inflammation and gut damage and immune dysregulation. And so I've combined the best of both worlds of gut repair and of a ketogenic therapeutic nutritional program so that people can be better informed and really take the reins of their health and nutrition to receive optimal benefit and really feel good in their body, vibrantly healthy in their body.
Let's talk about this for a minute. For people that are listening, some people may have heard about this, some people may not. Let's talk about what ketones are. And why we're not talking about something that is some kind of mysterious like discovery. We're talking about something that is natural within the system of things, yet it has a name now. And now it has a way to heal it. But I have a question in regard to this, and that is about one of our listeners just asked the question about fibromyalgia. And I think this is perfect to answer that question, right?
It is. It really is. So for that listener, I want you to know there's a lot of hope. And I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia about 24 years ago. And it took me 2 full years to heal it completely, and I haven't had a symptom since. So you can do it too. I want to empower you and give you hope. And nutrition is key. And a ketogenic gut repair therapeutic nutritional plan can really help shift that picture. It's a big piece of the puzzle. Fibromyalgia can be very complicated, and that's where I would go into looking at my 8 blocks to healing that I discovered and educating you on those 8 blocks to healing to see which ones are applicable to your system and your life and your body. And diet is one really, really important piece. So your brain and every major organ system in your body runs more efficiently from ketones than it does from glucose. When we eat carbohydrates, we store glucose as glycogen in our muscles, and we can only store about 2,000 kilocalories. And after that, we have to go back to the pantry and refuel. And that's why runners, you might hear of runners or cyclists bonking. It's because they ran out of that glycogen storage and their muscles aren't working and they crashed, right? And a lot of people, you've probably experienced pieces of this if you have a low blood sugar dip and you feel like, whoa, I gotta eat, or you get hangry. That's a new term, hungry and angry mixed together because your blood sugar dropped. So that's because your body is dependent on glucose. You're a slave to it. When you're eating a ketogenic gut repair diet, you don't have that anymore because you can store 20,000 to 40,000 kilocalories of ketones to use as fuel. And your body burns that fuel, which is fat. Ketones are fat. Burns that fuel throughout the day. So you basically train your metabolism to burn fat all day long, which is such a better and more efficient fuel source for your entire body, every single cell, and your brain.
Well, let's talk about this too from the perspective of what we knew in ancient times. I'm serious about this. What we knew about this way back. And, I just want to say that the form that ketones are available to us now is like remarkable. So if you go back a bunch of years, we didn't have where we are today and accessibility. I want you to touch upon sort of the accessibility factor today so that through what you've created, this gut repair, people actually can get their hands on things that can help them.
Yes, I love it. Accessibility is a really important piece. So in the 1920s, they discovered ketogenic nutritional programs were very effective for treating children with pediatric epilepsy. So the ketogenic diet is not new. It goes back to the 1920s. And prior to that, people were talking about the paleo diet and the Paleolithic era and our ancestors that were roaming the earth in small groups. They were nomadic. And when they would kill an animal, it was the fat that they really wanted. And they would use all the parts of the animal and the hide, and of course they would eat the meat as well, but the fat was revered. And we went through this phase of no fat, low fat, which really injured us. And science has gone back and said, oops, that's a mistake. That wasn't really healthy for us. We need fat. Our brains are mostly fat. They're mostly cholesterol. It's very important to have healthy fats. And in the 1920s, the fats that they had access to were things like dairy. And dairy is a great source of fat, and it can be incredibly inflammatory. After the age of 5, most of us no longer create the proper enzymes in our adult systems to break down dairy in a healthy way. And not being able to do that means it acts as an inflammatory food for us. Well, now we have access to things like coconut oil. We have access to very healthy organic olive oils. We have access to avocados and avocado oil. We have access to healthier omega-3s that aren't full of heavy metals, like the smaller sardine fish. And so we have greater access to healthier fats now. And we also have better testing to make sure they don't have heavy metals or pesticides in them, where they may have even just 20 years ago had more. So we're in a really great position to benefit from a ketogenic gut repair therapeutic plan.
Let's take a minute and talk about, I want to get back to the fibromyalgia question that came up. And thank you for asking us that question. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Benny. I want to talk about gluten for a minute. Mm-hmm. And I think gluten is like this word that was associated with a whole range of things we stick in our body that people are saying just don't sit well with them.
Yes.
Now, how did I figure it out for me? So I'm Italian. I'm also, my grandfather was born in Brazil, so I'm a little mix. And so there we go with that. And then here I am. I grow up on bread. I grow up on pasta. I grow up on anything that has flour in it. I go most of my life, have a little bit of a stomach issue, blamed it on something else, get older. Then I get the diagnosis. And to be honest with you, I couldn't even go near the stuff and didn't know what it was. 15 years ago, we weren't having this. What's going on? Is it the gluten, or is it a combination of stuff that we're just putting in our food?
I think it's a combination of things. I think we have a lot more gut issues in general, so we're less able to really deal with some of the chemicals and toxins in our environment and in our foods. We have more and more GMO'd. But in general, gluten is what I call goo food. If you've ever made bread, before it bakes, it's sticky and gooey. It's like really, really gooey. Well, guess what? That goo goes into your body and it gums up your system, especially your intestines. Even if you're not quote unquote sensitive or allergic or celiac or non-celiac gluten sensitivity person, it doesn't matter. It's not a good food for humans, period. We did not grow up on, I say grow up meaning evolutionary wise, on grains. And there's some research that actually shows some testing done on mummies where they had introduced grains into their civilization, and they were showing cardiac inflammation and gut problems already after just a couple of years of introducing grains into their culture. And so we have the research. We can prove that it's not good for us. Whether you're eating gluten in Europe and you say it doesn't bother you as much, or you're eating it in the US and you notice it does bother you, it's still not good for us. Now, if you have a sensitivity, which more and more people are developing, it's a poison, period. And when people have issues getting off of it, I say, well, you wouldn't drink a cup of bleach every day, would you?
Wow.
So why are you going to put this poison in your body? Even if you're not sensitive, it's been shown to alter your immune function. And we have a higher and higher rate of immune issues, autoimmune diseases, and cancers happening in our country. It's just so sad because it's almost 100% preventable. But people need to become empowered and really become educated on why it's not good for them, so they stop feeding it to their children and they stop ingesting it. And the market is informed by consumers. So if the consumers stop buying it, then guess what? It's going to change things. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be as easily accessible. The junk food is going to start to shift. We're going to get a change in the direction of more healthier food choices culturally. And so the more we can empower people, the better, Pat. And your show is doing that. I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you. Now, wait a minute, Benny. We've got another question, Benny. Let's just take a look at the next question. This is a good question. Let me just get it up here real quick. Another question coming in from our fabulous listeners. They're like the best on the planet, really. Okay, so what are your thoughts about, what is that, Benny?
Guar gums.
Guar gums in coconut milk.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Benny.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that you have a really smart listener out there. This is a really good question.
Let me tell you, these listeners are amazing.
I love it.
Listening for 15 years and hear me like bumble my way through educating myself. But it has to do with coconut milk. And I think this is even a bigger conversation about coconut milk, too.
Yes, it is. And we have these other gums in boxes of almond milk and cashew nut milk. It's not only coconut milk, unfortunately. And a lot of people are reacting to these gums, and they're causing immune issues. They can even cause people to become hyper reactive to other foods. They can trick the body and the immune system and they can mimic other things. And so the least amount of gums you're putting in your body, the better. I like to make everything from scratch when I can. When I am running a retreat in Costa Rica, we are cracking our own coconuts. I have a private chef there who is making homemade coconut milk out of the meat and the water so that we don't have any gums. We can make our own almond milk. You can make Brazil nut milk that's higher in selenium and better for your thyroid. And then you're not doing any gums. And it doesn't have to take, hours in the kitchen. It's actually quite easy. Once you get how to do it and you've done it once or twice, it's a 15-minute or less process, and then you've got your nut milk for the week or your coconut milk for the week. You can even freeze some of them so you could use them later. But
tell our listeners what they are, though, because there may be some listeners that don't know.
Yes. They are binding agents and they're thickeners. And so the cans of coconut milk that people are using in, say, for cooking Thai food and different things, the boxes of coconut milk, if they didn't have these different gums, they wouldn't be as thick. They would be more watery. And consumers tend to like these alternative milks to be thicker, like cow milk. And so these companies decided to make it thick like regular milk. They would add these different gums and carrageenans, which is comes from a seaweed source, is also a thickening agent. And it's always better to make your own when you can, or get tested and find out which gums you're sensitive to. My favorite test for that is by Cyrex Labs, Cyrex, array number 10. Now you have to eat the gums, wait for 7 days in a row, wait 26 days before you get your blood done, and then do the test. And if you're working with a functional healthcare provider, then they should be able to guide you to do that test properly. Or you can always contact the company, Cyrex Labs, and ask for assistance or to find a practitioner in your area. But this is a very good question. These gums are popping up all over the place as thickening agents, and we want to avoid them whenever we can.
And read the label. So folks are figuring out, well, wait a minute, I got this kind of gum in here, I got this, and you're right, it's almost in everything now. But you can find some things that it's not in. And I think you just have to look, right?
Absolutely. Become an informed label reader. Absolutely. I'm always shocked when I ask people to read labels to me from their healthcare products or their foods. They think, oh, well, I got this really good product from, the corner market or something. And I say, well, hey, can you read to me what's in it? And it's full of junk. And so it's really important, listeners, to read labels, because this is something you have control over. You have power in what you purchase. You have purchase power. And when you read labels and you say no to products that have junk in them, then those products eventually are going to change, because it's a consumer-driven market.
And I think that's what you're doing, not only in educating people as you do so brilliantly, but you're also saying, wait a minute, we can heal. And I think part of the journey, especially when we're talking about autoimmune or any disease now, we're finding this long list. I was talking to a woman over the weekend who has I think it's a form of cancer, who says, yeah, I'm going to have this my whole life. And I thought about that for a minute. I didn't say anything to her. I just asked myself, why can't we do better? See, that's the question. Can't we do better than say to a woman, just keep getting the chemo, keep putting the drugs in, you're going to have it the rest of your life? Can we do better? I don't know. I
love the question.
The answer.
I believe we do. I don't know that any of us have the answer, because I believe everything is super individualized. And I also believe that whatever she's going through is very important to her growing and her development, her learning, her path. And I really honor that. But yes, I do think we can do better in empowering each other. I do think we can do better in terms of patient outcomes. For example, autoimmune diseases always start with autoimmunity. That's a pre-disease state. And when I do functional blood chemistry analysis with my patients, we can find pre-disease states. So this is the ultimate in prevention. People have autoimmune challenges, sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20 years before they get the diagnosis. So what if we went back and we shifted things prior to that diagnosis and avoided it? That's amazing. And we have the power. We have the technology. We have the science. We have the education to do this. We just need to get it out there more.
Wow. This is, of course, part one of a bigger conversation, one that you're having all over the world. You're traveling, you're visiting places, you're writing books. You are a keynote speaker at the Fibromyalgia Freedom Summit. Natural Living Expo, Body, Mind, Spirit, Ultimate Women's Expo, all of the above, because you're bringing a message that goes beyond hope. Hope is something all of us that have ever been diagnosed have. Healing is something we want to really show the world that it is not a probability. It is possible and inevitable. Thank you for today. One last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with? And again, your website.
Well, that knowledge is power. And that becoming an informed consumer of your life and your health is possible, and it is important, and it'll help you heal. And my website is KristinGraceMcGarry.com, KristinGraceMcGarry.com.
I love it. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for your upcoming book. Thank you for getting out in the world and bringing a powerful message. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you. Thanks, Benny.
And to all the listeners out there, as I've said a million times, you are the best. You're the best audience on the planet. Every day, You're the reason that I get up so energetically enthusiastic about doing this show with you. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for another hour on Transformation Talk Radio.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.